And welcome to Flexible Games, where we are playing Production Line. Going to start a new game. We are on a brand new version, 1.1.4, or no, 1.14. And we're going to start a new game. And I created a custom map for this. If we go to edit, I added a bunch of importers, and I added a bunch of exporters. Because the developer has changed a lot about this game in the last couple of versions, and so I want to start a new one. Let's see if we load her up here. There is our wonderful factory, lots and lots of stuff to do. And to start off, I'm going to pause it, and we're going to start off and look at some of these changes really quick. First of all, the exporting of the cars is completely different, so we need to take that into account. The sales of the cars are now laid out in a very different way, so we're able to sort of combine a lot of different productions into one single line. Instead of, in all the previous iterations I've done, I've always kept the lines separated to keep the models sort of consistent. Well, we don't have to do that now. So I'm going to go for a completely different design for a factory. He's also added a bunch more research and some new production. So if we go to slots, or let's go to research first. So let's see what has changed in here. First of all, we can now manufacture windshields, and we can also manufacture, where would it be? I know it's in here somewhere, but we can also manufacture air conditioner units. It's probably in here somewhere. Yeah, right down here, air conditioner manufacturer. So that is going to be a good one. And he's added a new slot, which is essentially placing the dashboard. So that is something that I had suggested, and he went ahead and did that. So the body frame specialization, not doors, where would that have been? Anyway, let's get this started and get some cars out the door for a little bit of income coming in. So let's see. We want to have an exporter, and let's just start going down the line here. Quality, electronics. I'm gonna leave a space for that. We can't individualize anything yet, so we're going to just go along with these big beastly ones here. These are going to be tough to keep up with. But yeah, paint, we're going to do some paint, body, chassis assemble. Yeah, right in here. That's a big station. So chassis, body, paint, engine, accessories, electronics, quality, and export. So let's connect all these up. All right, and now when we place the resource importer, we can put one here, here, here. I'm going to put one over here too. Now when you actually go to place the conveyors, it goes into a UI that allows you to link them up directly. So that's a pretty nice change. And we're going to come across here, go up, and this one is going to come down here. So for now, we don't have any accessories research. We don't have anything research. So we're going to need some research offices right from the start here, and we're going to put them up back in here for now. Okay, and we're going to start off a research. I think we're gonna want to do specializations just so we can get those going, and then we can work on other things. So let's kickstart this process, and the resources will start to flow. Okay, do we want to... what is our speed at? We're only at 0.5 points per minute. That's going to be slow for now. And he's also added achievements. So all of these achievements have been added to the game. I'm not sure if they're actually operational yet. I think they are, but so he's getting the game into more of a final setting, final setup. So here's our first car on the way, and if we look at the times here, you can see the times now are in game hours, game minutes. So these things are, it's no longer in real-time minutes. You can see how many different steps there are to this just one fit body versus, you know, very few steps in the fit chassis. So we would be able to add another fit body in there somewhere, and then paint 34 minutes, so that paint we can double that up. 27 minutes we could double that one up. 14 minutes we could bring it all back to there. So if we do another fit body right here, and then another paint, and then another fit engine, we would be able to double those up. And I think we lost that car that was on there. But there, now we have doubled that up and should be good. Let's get those conveyors going. So I'm gonna, oops, I didn't want to do that craziness, but I guess it is what it is. All right. So now see, this one's going off in this direction because this one's full. So it's nice that that works now. And you know, when you start these factories, it's a little slow at first, but you know, it picks up. So I'm waiting for my first car to make it through, so I can show you the next step, the next change. So I'm going to speed her up a little bit. My resource importers are keeping up, which is nice. All right, so now we are on fit engine, which is good, because it's not only the engine, but it's also the tires, the wheels, the brakes, radiator, the steering wheel. There's a ton of stuff that goes into, a ton of steps that goes into this one. And you can't actually put any upgrades on any of these, any options on any of these, because they're not individualized yet. So we gotta kind of bide our time there. And these first cars, these are gonna be just a basic, absolutely bare bones car. So we're gonna want as many of these as possible. Well, they're all coming out about the same color. That one's an interesting color for a car. And there it is, requirements. That is hit a peak production, 50% production slot utilization in a single moment. Okay, well that's good. Didn't take much to get that first one. Okay, unnamed design. I'm going to use our I'm going to use the Patreon names again. Make sure that is right. I think it is. Okay, so this is the basic car. This is the price that we're going to be charging for it. Now you can individualize these things. So for QA, I'm going to reduce the individual QA to, you know, we're just going to make $11 for that, but we're going to make almost $3,200 just with the basic car. So that is how that works now. And as you add different options, you individualize the price between the options that you choose. Instead of the full car, you charge by the option, and that is how you can individualize. So when you first research, power steering, you can start charging a premium for power steering at first, but that will go down over time. So if we go to money, we go to prices, and then market value. Okay, there's the research that's done. I actually want to research the research centers. That's going to take a while, so I doubt that's going to get done anytime soon. But that's going to take a while for that. So this is the prices that you're being charged for the individual components, but the market value, this will tell you how much you can charge premium for these values. So say you have panoramic sunroof. Well, that's $1,000 for a market value. And so you could charge maybe a little bit of a premium for that. And the panoramic sunroof itself costs $700. So you're only going to make, you know, $300 if you keep with this market value. So it's a way to tweak your numbers, tweak your sales to try to get the most out of every dollar. So that is a good thing. That is a really good thing. I'm glad we've got that done now. And I'm not sure. I don't think we can make the sunroof yet, but we can make the windshield, which is good. So this little factory here is going strong, and we are currently, I'm not sure why there's nothing showing up. Well, there's nothing showing up because there's no options. We haven't had any upgrades into Fit Electronics yet. So that's why it's not stockpiling anything. That's good to know. Okay. Now, is that research going to take forever? It is probably going to take forever. But once that is done, we'll be able to place the bigger research centers and be able to research even faster. So a little bit of slow time in the beginning of the game will help us later on. So now we are working strong on getting as many cars through these as possible. And it looks like we got a little bit of a backup over here. This one should, yeah, this one goes there. And able to keep up. That's good. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted just a basic factory, no options, you could just keep with these bigger segments, but we're going to want to split those off. So what I'm thinking of, looking at future expansions, what I'm thinking of is creating, like, doing this chassis assemble, just doing a ton of chassis assemble over in one area, maybe over here or something. All these chassis assemblers. And then breaking those off and going into like a body assemble. And the body assemble will need a whole lot of body parts. And for that, we could use, you know, internal parts or external imported parts. And I think, you know, obviously in the beginning, we're going to need to import the parts. But later on, when we get all the research done, we'll be able to do a little bit better job. So if we look at Fit Accessories, there is the Fit dashboard right there. For some reason, oh yeah, we can now do that because we have researched that accessories. So we could take this Fit Accessories and actually split this off now. But I want a few more things researched before I want to split all of these different components out before we dive too far into that. So I could use this base floor here for the entire assembly process, and then use, I've got a lot of exporters on this side, a lot of exporters over here. I could, make chassis back in here, come out, fit the body all in here, fit engine, all that kind of stuff. And then these offshoots, these could be where I make the materials. So this big one in here, I could use to make the steel plates and then stamp out the body parts like arches and bumpers and hoods and roofs and all that kind of stuff in this big area, and have those be push into, the multiple lines that we're going to need to export the cars. So I'm really hoping that this game this time around is a little bit different in how I design, because we're going to be choosing different options, and it's going to be sort of a mishmash of options, because before it wasn't really wise to do. It wasn't really wise to have multiple lines with the cars kind of intermingling between them with all different options, because then your export window, you would have 1,000 different models of car, and it really hurt the game. I was reading things on crashes, and every 2 seconds another pop-up would come up with another car model, because a car just happened to make it through with some unique options, and it spawned a car model. So now that the car model is based on the basic car, this basic car right here, because the developer is adding different models of things to build. So instead of just being cars, we're going to be able to build, different things like SUVs or compact cars, or even sports cars or exotic cars, whatever is needed, whatever he feels is good to add. And that basic car setting will change. It will be not basic car, but maybe basic SUV. And then all of the options and all that kind of stuff, the cascade going down there would include all of those different options. So that is the plan for the factory, to create just tons and tons of different lines and different segments in order to get all these things going. And I could even use this one back here for the final, fit electronics and maybe a few accessories back here, because I've got a ton of exporters that I can use. And I've added a bunch of resource importers just because I want to try to optimize which lines are feeding which lines and all that kind of stuff. So I want to be unique with that. So yeah, that is the factory, and we are going to hopefully get this research done. I'll wait to kickstart the next episode when this research finishes, so we'll be able to kickstart a little bit more of what we want to do there. And I definitely want to research our own power gen, because that is another big area that you can save money from. So if we do expenses, you can see power purchase is a huge chunk right now. Huge chunk of our expenses. And component purchases, I want to try to minimize that as much as possible, but it's going to be tough. Going to be tough. You can see our money is actually going, it's actually trending up. I might even be able to increase the premium on this. I'm going to still reduce the QA premium, because that's crazy. I don't know. I don't think you can skip this step, but I've never seen a factory that skips the quality check. But seemingly you could. I don't know. All right. Well, that will do it for this episode, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.